Finally. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so have you ever heard of this? Rails is going to include Webpack and Yarn. Yeah, yeah.
Yarn's awesome.
Yarn is basically NPM plus Ruby gems. That's basically what it is.
Yarn's the
Yeah,
best.
so y'all are familiar.
So what is Yarn stand? Is yet another something? Is that because I know they usually. Huh?
Better than NPM.
I don't think it's like that.
Okay. Because what was the other one? Garb or something like yet another Ruby interpreter. Which we already. But
Yeah, I don't know.
sorry.
But yeah, it's like Ruby gems, right? I guess I was reading a little bit about it. It solves the problem of like having to deal with all these node modules and
Yeah, that does.
oh yeah, Webpack
Yeah, it's like
does. Webpack takes the place of ASP
That fixes
pipeline.
Webpack's
big
amazing.
problem with
Yeah.
NPM. Yeah. It's like NPM
Um,
can have. It's like, and I've had this happen like multiple times where it's like you have like subdependencies that like, well, it ticks up and it breaks everything. And it's literally like 3 dependencies deep that it ends up breaking everything.
Yeah,
So Yarn actually ends up all like Ruby gems actually creates a lock file, so it actually keeps everything in the same version.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's much faster for resolving.
oh
dependencies.
yeah,
It's so much
that was the other thing. Yeah, I saw some comparisons, and yeah, it was a lot faster.
faster. Like 5 times faster.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have to download everything every time. So it's really cool. Okay, what else?
Does
do we-
Yarn replaces NPM?
Yep. You can just use
Um,
it directly in
It's
place
compatible
of.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's used in conjunction with it.
Now, is NPM, does it replace NPM and the gem file or no?
Yeah,
No,
no.
it still uses the same
Package
package
JSON.
JSON. It just creates a lock file as well.
Oh. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, so
It's a drop-in replacement.
Yeah, that's when you do a NPM update, right?
Something
I'm
like
just
that.
this is probably the biggest thing I found. Let's see what else I got. Oh, Ruby 2.4. There's a blog post on all the new things. Ruby 2.20. I can't talk. 2.4 is out now. So these are kind of the big things. Y'all want to go over it? Can y'all see that okay? Like you were talking about debugger, so now it's built into Ruby and there's binding RB. So that's pretty cool. You don't have to install a separate gem for that. That's the top one. Integers, they combine things. I think I talked about that before. Some rounding changes and some hash changes. There's like a bunch of details on that. This is on the Heroku blog. I'll share this so you can look at it more if you want to. I don't know if anyone uses Passenger, but it's a very popular server, and there's a new version of that. It's supposed to be faster.
It's been a while since it's like, oh yeah, Fusion Master, yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone's looking at web servers, might want to look at the new version of Passenger.
Everybody's probably jump ship to Hulu.
There was this blog article about gems and Ruby gems. That happened earlier too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not been a good day.
Yeah, interesting titles, Ruby Dead. But basically it goes over the stats of Ruby gems. I took a few screenshots of some interesting things. Gem creation like went up and fell for some reason. He talks about that. Rails downloads increasing. So it looks like more people are using Rails. It's interesting. Rails alternatives, maybe. This is from the blog post. Yeah, it looks pretty stable, I guess, up and down. Yeah, that's about it. There was a few more things he talks about in that blog article, just based on Ruby gem usage, so it's pretty interesting. Rails 5.1 also will include big int as primary keys, which allows for much more, I guess, much more data.
No monkey packing around it anymore.
yeah, I'm not too familiar with that issue, but I guess it affected. They talk about Twitter here before, like what happened once they reached 2 billion records or something. They had to just kind of fail, and they had to move to something else. And this will prevent like really large data sets from just failing once they hit 2 billion records, I think. Oh, this was interesting. I think this is more clickbait, but this guy like was using React, and then he's like, I'm going to go to Rails, and just talked about like kind of the use cases for Rails over React. I didn't see anything that was like, I read over it and I didn't see anything that was like, I don't know, super mind-blowing or anything. It was just, one of the points was the tooling is a little easier with Rails. Like there's a lot you have to know in the JavaScript ecosystem. So it's probably easier for beginners in some respects. So that might be an interesting read if I have some time. I think, what else I got? Oh, why does it make sense learning Rails in 2017? This was on Quora, and DHH responded to that question. So it was a pretty good read. I think his reasoning, I'm probably going to do a really bad summary of this, but I think it has to do with the convention over configuration and I'm not sure how to pronounce it, omakase versus a la carte. So like Rails is, you kind of get everything bundled for you and you don't have to make so many decisions up front, whereas other ecosystems or frameworks, like you have to do a lot of choosing to begin with. So it's an advantage there. And I think one of the other points he made, which I've heard him make before, was even though there's a lot of front-end frameworks that people want to use, like React or Angular or whatever, you can still use Rails as a backend, and you can still get all the advantages of that. So in that respect, it's still relevant. Like it's a good backend, and Ruby's just really nice to use. So I think those are kind of its points there. I found this interesting. Shopify is using Rails like for the last 12 years, and they showed these stats on it, which are pretty crazy. Like 4,000 controller, 400 controllers, I guess, classes, 4,000 methods and controllers, 2,000 models. Yeah, reading the comments pretty interesting too. People are like, so how long does the test suite take? And so yeah, that was a pretty interesting stats there.